If you're one of those educators who wants to start an online tutoring business, or if you already have one, you may have realized that things are about to change for the better. If you worked in a traditional classroom like I used to do, you had to follow a certain curriculum and you did not have to handle the business side of things. But now you do. Working online for yourself and for your one-to-one or for your group students can be so amazing and rewarding. It is hard work sometimes, maybe even a lot of the time, but I want to encourage you because no matter what, it is still rewarding. Here are 9 ways that your online tutoring business will change you. If you have noticed some of these changes and you've been tutoring online on your own for a while, comment below and tell me which one do you relate to the most. Number 1 is something I never wanted to do. You're going to become a salesman. You're really selling your own skills and selling your own time. And we never had to do that before in the classroom, right? Kids just showed up and sometimes you're like, I'm not ready for you yet. What are you doing in here? The most important thing you're doing is offering value to those clients. So I call them clients, you might call them students, whatever you want to call them. They are people who are paying you for your valuable knowledge and skills. Because they are paying you directly and only you, there's a certain level of professionalism that you have to adopt and a certain level of confidence that you're going to gain. And you may not feel confident at first, but it just takes a lot of trial and error. I started with one student that I met while I was teaching in the classroom. Like, we met at a coffee shop. I think I charged them $20 because I had no idea. One way to ease into becoming a better salesman, if you're like not really sure how, is just to wear your logo around town, especially with something on the back, something on the front. You never know who's going to ask you, oh, you teach reading? You teach math? And you're gonna be like, huh? Why, as a matter of fact, I do. And then it's an organic conversation from there. I remember going into stores or like shopping for a car and feeling like I was really being sold too hard, and I did not like that approach. But you get to sell your services in your own way. You don't have to be pushy, but you do need to know how to talk about what you do. After teaching a few students or teaching a few classes, you're gonna find what you love to talk about the most. You might figure out what's most valuable, like what value do you bring to the table? You just say that over and over again, and that means you're online a lot, you're on social media, whatever it takes. You're going to become a salesman, saleswoman, whatever, but you're gonna be comfortable with it because hopefully if you really love teaching online, you're going to know how to talk about it. You will want to tell others about what you do. And the better you get, the less convincing you'll have to do. People will come to you and all you have to do is say, here's how I can help. Let's meet, let's do a trial class. Thus, a relationship begins. One thing that's actually surprised me about having an online tutoring business is that I really listen to a lot of entrepreneurial business podcasts. I watch it on YouTube. You're gonna find that because you're running your own business, every action you take is either working toward more growth and more progress, or your actions are working against you. So for example, I wanted to make video content today. I wanted to email parents. I also had some shopping to do. So I realized if I go shopping and I get distracted in Target, I get distracted, suddenly I'm using really great quality time and I'm burning too much energy doing shopping that isn't as important. You're gonna be thinking about, what can I do to move the business forward? That means you're reading books that are enhancing your knowledge. All in all, you're going to be finding more resources and actually more intentional about what you put into your head. Like, it really is true, garbage in, garbage out. If I watch too much fluff TV, too much silly TV, eventually I'm just like, I want to look at something that's going to teach me, like in a fun way. I don't always have to be reading history books or anything like that, but you realize that you enjoy hearing about how other people are talking to clients, how do other people advertise on social media. The more, I'm gonna say educational content you absorb, but the better you're going to be. Just remember that the more positive information you read, or like more insightful, valuable content you listen to or read, the more you will be able to not regurgitate, but the more you'll be able to show that or teach that to your own students. If you're a quality tutor, teacher, educator, you're gonna figure out what you need to be listening to, what you need to be reading, and you're gonna know what to shut out. If you are repeatedly exposed to negative things, you're not going to be so excited about the future, right? So be ready for that to change if it hasn't happened for you already. You're also going to become more tech savvy. Now, you may not be a person who ever really liked technology that much, so learning some of this new stuff is challenging. I admit that I was not the biggest tech person in the world when I started my tutoring business, and now, honestly, I own multiple computers, gadgets, this little thing called a dongle, a terabyte storage device that I can put all my videos on. Oh yeah, plus the YouTube channel, all of that stuff. And there's a few other items I don't have sitting around me, but you just find that there's value in that, because if you don't consistently learn something new at least every week or every month, you're going to start falling behind. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying that if you want to actually love logging onto those computers every day and meeting with the students, you're going to want to come up with new, fresh items every so often, just to spice it up, just to keep yourself engaged and just to keep up with the times. Another change you'll have is that more and more of your friends will be the entrepreneurial type. You won't be able to hang out with the friends who just stay up late, sleep in late, play around. I don't really even know people who are like lazy. Working for yourself means, well, you're not really working for yourself. You are working for other people, but it is your own business and your reputation that you need to maintain. So you find that you start respecting people more when they are the type that is always looking for new things. They're doing research, they're attending online conferences, they're meeting with you, they care about books like this one and this one and this one. They're developing high quality habits instead of hanging on to those old things like sleeping in and slacking off and procrastinating. I've done all those things and I really can't do those things anymore with my own tutoring business. Oh yeah, and another point, you're going to feel guilty when you're not working. And I used to be a person who thought I'll never be a workaholic. That's not me. If you have a regular job right now, or if you're used to, you know that you worked really hard and you really look forward to weekends, or you look forward to holiday breaks, or your whatever your time off was. Now, even during a break, like if students take time off, or if it's the weekend, I sort of feel like, I'm not doing anything to move the business forward. Now, I know I said you're gonna feel more prone to reading educational things, valuable things, as opposed to like celebrity fluff and all of that. But you deserve to set healthy boundaries for yourself. And I've had to tell myself that, because I think that when you're working for yourself and you're planning lessons, or you're creating quizzes for students that you know they'll actually like, you sometimes get caught up in it and you spend a lot of time. Like I used to say I would only tutor on Monday through Friday, and even Friday was like a half day. But there are times when I would be tempted to try to change my schedule to accommodate a student who really wanted Sundays. Comment below if you've ever felt guilty for taking any time off. There will be times when you don't feel good, you are sick, and you can decide, I could cancel my next 2 tutoring sessions and just make them up later, or I can try to power through it. There's a lot of seesawing and indecision that you're gonna have to work through. I have definite goals for PEZ Tutoring, and some of those goals are financial goals. I hate to say it, but I feel guilty if I like sleep in one day, or if I watch 2 or 3 hours of TV. I think that's unnatural. I shouldn't be doing that anymore. You might compare yourselves to other tutors who seem to be busy, and maybe you're not as busy as they are. You'll have to learn how to shut those things out, and just know that if you're not working hard one day, you're going to be working pretty hard the next day. The feeling guilty thing is something I'm still working through too. You'll just have to tell yourself, hey, I've worked hard for this many days. Look at your calendar and realize, wow, I've worked all of these days. I've worked really hard. I deserve a day or two of not working. Everybody needs those brain breaks and those physical breaks. All right, another thing that will change when you have an online tutoring business is that your friends and family won't really get it. I did have people in my life who, when I told them I would be starting the tutoring business, they were like, oh, for how long? Because they had not had the experience of starting their own business. They didn't foresee a possible path of success. They just thought, that sounds like a hobby, it sounds risky. What about retirement? What about like all of these things? And I just thought, look, there are resources out there that will teach me how to manage and run a business. I found people who knew what they were doing, and I learned from them. While in some ways friends and family can be your greatest supporters, they're not always going to support you when it comes to like the business side of things. You might be excited about some new computer that you got or some new program you're doing, and your friends and family they won't understand that. They'll be like, what is that? That's boring. Or they'll want to gossip and talk about people that you guys know. And I mean, you know, it's like that probably with any job, but most definitely with your own business, they'll see you working and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing? If your friends and family don't understand it, you just have to go out and find the people who do understand it. Sometimes those other online tutoring business owners that you meet are going to be your awesome accountability partners. They're going to become your new best friends, and they'll never replace your other friends and family, but you're going to need to find people who have that entrepreneurial mindset that you can that can share with you, because basically people who aren't running an online business, they will try to distract you. My least favorite is when people suggest, hey, there's a teaching position opening at such and such school. I'm like, so I have a full-time online tutoring business. It's a real thing. It makes money. I can show you the paperwork that proves it makes money, I promise. And if you start a YouTube channel or Facebook group, don't expect everybody to always watch and like and comment on your videos. I have some non-tutoring friends who do, but I think most of them are actual educators. Here's something else that's lots of fun. You're going to be told no. If you're like me, you don't like hearing the word no, but people are going to say no to your services. If you taught in the regular classroom, kids would just constantly come. I remember at one school I had a revolving door of just students. I had a new student every week. It was a very transient population and that was stressful, but I always had people. There's lots of activity. I was meeting new people all the time, and there was no convincing like, hey, come join my classroom. There might be times when you have a tutoring drought where you have just a few clients. I mean, heck, you might have a phase where you have almost no clients, and sometimes that happens, especially at first, but then you'll get a call and you'll be hopeful. You might pour your heart out and tell those people how great your services are, how much value you provide, how much you can raise those students' grades, how much you can improve their math skills, their reading skills, whatever, and then they ghost you. Or they say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pay that. Can you give me a discount? Sometimes tutoring isn't a good fit for every parent or student. It's just not. And so you just can't get offended. I've had to learn not to get my feelings hurt. I mean, no one said like anything really hateful, but try not to get your hopes up too much. Always just look at something objectively. If parents and students come to you looking for a tutor and you tell them all the facts and you tell them your expectations, you tell them the price, the boundaries you set up, the procedures you have for online tutoring, if they still say no to you, then that means it wasn't a good fit anyway. Those people will move on. Sometimes people are price shopping. Sometimes people are just looking for somebody to give them answers to their homework. And if you don't like doing that, you do have to be honest with those people and say, this isn't what this is. You will be told no. You yourself will also have to tell people no. It happens. I mean, you know, this is education, but it's also business. Don't be afraid of rejection. I don't like rejection, but just know that every time it happens to you, it's making you stronger. It's building character so that you're better prepared for the next person. Speaking of tough things, another way that your tutoring business will change you is that you will become much better at articulating your value and defending your prices. People are going to challenge your prices. Not every day, not constantly. It doesn't happen that much to me anymore, but I have had parents ask me, oh, why do you charge that much? And guess what? The first time it was asked, I was like, oh, well, I have a master's degree. Like, I wasn't used to having to defend a price. First of all, it was difficult to put a price on my services because I'd never done it before. And this is your first time doing this too. This is where listening to those podcasts and speaking with other tutors and going to online tutoring conferences, this is where all the stuff you learn there will really help you out. I've actually asked other tutors, hey, a parent said this, how should I respond? And they often give like amazing answers. I don't know what I would do without them. Let's say you're having a parent consultation through Zoom and everything sounds great and you get to the part where you talk about pricing. If you mention your price, here's my hourly rate, here's my group rate, here's our weekly, however you set it up, and if that parent suddenly changes their demeanor and says, oh, well, that was a lot more than I thought it was, you're gonna wanna know what to say to them. There are several different ways you could respond to a comment like that, and if you're any good with psychology, you might be able to feel the person out and say, well, da 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 da. If you guys want some ideas about how to handle questions about money, comment below. I know I can make a video about it. When they ask you that, questions like that will teach you how to best articulate your value and to justify your prices. Some parents won't really worry about price, but you don't need to just say, oh, well, I'm worth it, I'm worth it. Sure, the time you're giving those students is probably worth it, but you need to be truthful and honest with those parents and students and say, well, here's why I charge this. Here's what I used to charge. I charge this now because I now offer XYZ, or I'm doing continuing education, or that's my doggy. Whatever it may be, just get ready to talk about it. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, or if you just haven't really had to deal with that yet, practice these conversations with other tutors. Set aside some time to talk to another online tutor and say, hey, pretend like you're the parent and I'm me, and you're gonna challenge my price and I'm going to defend my price in the most practical way. That'll help. And last but not least, you will become more comfortable talking about money. When you're running your own business, suddenly every penny matters. If you had another job, I hate the term like 9 to 5 because that's not always 9 to 5, but other jobs where other companies were paying you, you pretty much had a set rate like every month or week, and then sometimes you get commission if it's that type of job. In a service-based industry like this one where I have clients, and if I want more money, I can squeeze in a few more sessions, or I can create some classes and try to sell that time to have more students come in. You get better at math too. I'm not talking about like algebra, geometry math, which we do offer. I'm talking about the practical side where you're gonna realize, I wanna make X amount of dollars per year, so how can I earn it? I can't just play around for 2 or 3 months and hope that the springtime earns me a lot of money. Not every online business owner is going to want to talk about it, but because there's so much opportunity, there's so many ways to make money with your tutoring business because you can create more things that people need. Like, there's so much. If you're afraid to talk about money, that means you're afraid to earn more money. This doesn't mean you're going to become like this financial guru, but you are going to become more interested in how taxes work and how you can budget and save money but also earn more money. Owning a business is going to teach you all those things, and you're going to be more strict with yourself, whereas beforehand maybe you just got paid and hoped for the best. Now you are responsible. You truly are responsible for every penny that you earn. So those are the 9 ways that having an online tutoring business can change you. Comment below if you can relate to any of these, or even if you disagree with some of them. That's okay too. You can certainly comment about that. I want to offer you guys an opportunity to join my online digital decluttering club for online entrepreneurs. I love to help tutors create videos, but I also love to help them get organized online. I do a lot of work with Google Drive. So if you are an online tutor and want to hear more stuff like this, but maybe in a more like close environment in that group, I will be able to help you guys even more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.